All right, let's settle it. Or, at least, let's talk about it. It's one of the biggest pop culture debates out there. The Office UK versus The Office US. We're talking about the OG versus the blockbuster remake. Today, we're going to put them head-to-head and see who comes out on top.
And, it all boils down to this one simple question. They come from the exact same idea, the same creative DNA from Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. But the real question is, did that shared DNA create two identical shows, or did it create two completely different animals? Well, let's find out.
So, first things first, we've got to admit they started from the exact same blueprint. The core concept, totally identical. I mean, look at the ingredients list. It's the same for both. You've got the boss who makes your skin crawl, you've got the soul-crushing, beige-colored paper company, the whole shaky cam we're a documentary style, and yep, even the legendary stapler encased in Jell-O. The blueprint was a carbon copy, but the magic, and what we're talking about today, is what each show decided to build with those same parts.
Okay, let's kick things off with round one, the pilot episodes. This is where the shows are the most alike. I mean, some scenes are practically shot-for-shot remix, so it's the perfect place to start our little showdown.
Right from the jump, you can feel the split. The UK pilot is just, man, it's biting. It is laser-focused on David Brent, and the humor is pure, uncut cringe. The US pilot, though, it pulls its punches just a little bit. Michael Scott is clearly a Brent clone, but he's a little goofier, a bit more of a sad clown you can almost feel for. And while the US supporting cast would become legendary, here, let's be honest, they're still figuring things out.
And this quote just proves the UK pilot's big advantage. The side characters, they just feel so complete right away. Take Gareth Keenan. You get his whole deal in about 10 seconds. The weird territorial army pride, the instant petty rivalry with Tim, it's all there. The UK cast just hit the ground running at full speed. So for round one, the verdict is in and the UK pilot takes it. It's just a more confident, more cutting piece of television right out of the gate. It knew exactly what it was, giving it the edge over the slightly softer, still finding its footing US start.
But hey, a pilot is just one episode, right? The real difference, the thing that sent these shows down two totally different paths, was how they handled their main character. This is the Brent versus Scott showdown, and believe me, it defines everything.
And here's the fundamental difference, you ready? In the UK, David Brent is the story. He's the sun, and every other character is just a planet caught in his awkward orbit. But in the US, well, Michael Scott starts out as the sun, but the show quickly realizes it has an entire galaxy of other stars to explore. And you can actually watch this happen in real time. Season 1, it's pretty much the Michael Scott show. But then you hit Season 2, and the writers start passing the ball around. Think about the injury. Michael's silly burned foot is the B-plot to Dwight's concussion drama, or Casino Night, which is almost entirely about Jim and Pam. This decision to become a true ensemble show gave the US version so much more room to play. Which leads us to probably the single biggest difference between the two shows, and where the US version really carved out its own identity. And that is its absolutely incredible supporting cast.
The US show didn't just have characters in the background, it had a whole universe of them. I mean, just look at this list. We got entire multi-season sagas, like the completely insane love triangle with Andy, Angela, and Dwight. We got Phyllis and Bob Vance from Vance Refrigeration, the beautiful disaster that was Ryan and Kelly, Daryl climbing the ladder from the warehouse to corporate, Karen's whole life after Jim. It just goes on and on. It wasn't just a show about a boss, it was a show about an office.
And if you need proof of this ensemble advantage, look no further than Creed Bratton. This guy started as basically a human prop, and he grew into this legendary, surreal icon all built on these bizarre one-liners. The show gave even the smallest characters enough oxygen to catch fire and become fan favorites. That kind of depth is something the UK show, by its very design, just never went for.
And this focus on the whole team, it also totally changed another key element, the office romance. Both shows have one, but man, the way they approach them could not be more different. Over in the UK, the Tim and Don story is just perfect. It's sweet, it's quiet, it's painfully realistic. It's this wonderful little side story that gets a perfect ending. But in the US, Jim and Pam, that's not a side story. That's a main event. It's one of the central pillars holding up the entire 9-season structure. It's a full-blown epic. I mean, the sheer time we spent with them is incredible. The show gave their story years to breathe.
We were there for the huge casino night confession, for that perfect rainy gas station proposal, for the big Niagara wedding, and we were even there for the tough, realistic marital problems in the last season. It wasn't just a crush, it was a saga.
So after all that, it's time to step back. We've looked at the pilots, the bosses, the casts, the romances. Now it's time to pull the camera all the way out and deliver the final verdict on the entire run of both shows.
So here's the tale of the tape. The UK version is a masterpiece of less is more. 2 brilliant seasons and a perfect Christmas special. It keeps that dark, cringy tone the whole way through, and crucially, it never overstays its welcome. The US version is a beast of a different kind. 9 seasons long, its tone grew over time, mixing that absurdity with a whole lot of heart and creating this huge, rich world that you can just rewatch forever.
And that brings us to our final score. Look, the UK version is nearly flawless television, a solid 88. But the US version, just by sheer force of will, its incredible cast, its emotional weight, and its massive scope, it built something bigger. It just has to take the win for the full marathon. So here's the bottom line. The UK office, it absolutely wins the battle. It proved the concept worked with a pilot that was sharper and more confident. But the US office, by blowing the world wide open and making us fall in love with 24 characters instead of just a few, it definitely won the war.
And that really just leaves us with one final thing to chew on. What's more impressive, really? Is it creating a perfect, tight little short story that says everything it needs to say and then gets out? Or is it building a sprawling, beloved epic novel that becomes this comfortable, lived-in world for an entire generation? There's no right answer, of course, but that's what makes this whole debate so much fun.